Okay, hello and welcome back to the Football Rundown. Hopefully everything's up and running. It should be a little bit delayed, a little bit of a last-minute rush, to be honest, and hopefully everyone can hear me well as well, because I'm not used to doing these quite last minute as this one's turned out to be. Obviously, it's transfer deadline day. We know it's going to be a little bit up in the air in terms of when things will happen, if things happen. But of course, Stockport County do have their first bit of major the transfer window, which should drop the last half an hour, I want to say, and that is that Stockport County have signed Brad Hills on loan from Norwich City till the end of the season. It's a centre back coming in. Stuart's, ahead of the game, he's saying, I mentioned the Norwich player looks like a good fit. I've not read anything really on the statement from the club yet, because I just saw it come up and I thought, right, let's prepare this stream and let's, dissect it live. But of course, Stockport County have, or did confirm earlier, that they'd signed this centre back from Norwich on loan. We had heard the name a little bit this morning, a little bit maybe last night as well. I'm just finding the tweet from Stockport County. I had it already and I've lost it. So Stockport County, 34 minutes ago exactly, said, welcome to County Brad Hills. The highly rated centre-half joins us on loan from the Championship side, Norwich City, for the remainder of the 24-25 season, becoming our first signing of the deadline day. That's a key point there. First signing of deadline day, which does suggest there will be at least another one in the door before the window closes. I said it, I think we probably need, possibly two additions, one being a centre-back, another being a centre-forward. Obviously, Jack Stretton's left the club as well today through mutual agreement. He's had his contract terminated. I know some people will be sad about that news. And it is disappointing news, I suppose, for him personally. It's just not quite worked out for him. I think he signed an extension in the summer, then has gone out on loan. It hasn't really worked out on loan. He did come back a little bit just before the window opened. He was on the bench a handful of times. But, he never really looked like he was going to get to that side. And obviously, since Benon Brecky Anderson's come in, Stretton's not even really got on the bench either. So we wish him well, of course. I'll remember him for that goal against Salford. Other people might have other memories of him, but it's just not worked out. And I think injuries have probably been a bit of an issue for him as well. He's out for quite a lengthy period of time. That's always going to, make it difficult for a player of his age. He's still a very young player as well. What is he, 21, 22? Very young player, so he's still got a long way to go in his career. And there's no doubt about that. It's certainly not over, even though at this point in time it might feel like it's, sort of a bit of a standstill. He can still turn it around and hopefully does do that somewhere else. So good luck to him. Just want to say to people who are watching live as well, can we get liking the video as well? It does help in the algorithm as well, I think. But let's get, we've talked about the player that's gone out. Let's talk about a player which has come in. It is, of course, Brad Hills. Like I say, name was mentioned a couple of times, maybe late last night, early this morning. This is what the club statement has to say. Stockport County is delighted to announce the signing defender Brad Hills on loan from Championship outfit Norwich City. The highly rated centre-half joined for the remainder of the 24-25 campaign, training with Dave Challoner's team at Carrington for the first time on transfer deadline day. The 20-year-old has risen through the academy ranks at his local club Norwich City in recent years, impressing their under-18s and under-21 side before signing the 3-year deal with the Canaries in 2022. So his contract must be coming to an end, actually. Unless he signed one since then, that must be up in the summer. So that's an interesting one. Potentially, if this loan goes well, he could possibly be an option on a free transfer come the end of the season. Obviously, we've done that with Lewis Spate, didn't we? His contract was up. We got him on a free transfer. Obviously, he wasn't on loan with us, but we did use the free transfer market with contracts expiring in the summer. Maybe that's something we can revisit in the summer with this player, should it work out. Brad then enjoyed a successful first loan spell under John Coleman at Accrington Stanley last season, featuring 41 times for the Reds in League Two and scoring 3 times, with his performances seeing him named by Stanley supporters as the club's player of the season. Returned to Carrow Road over the summer, the England under-20 get my words out. The England under-20 international has remained part of Johan Hoff Thurup's first team squad. That's not an easy one to say. Over the first half of the campaign, making 4 appearances in all competitions. His move to Edgeley Park further strengthens Dave Chalmers' defensive options as we prepare for our final 17 league games of the season. Brad will wear the number 33 during his time at County, and the defender will be hoping to make his debut at Edgewood Park this weekend against Barnsley. So that's something to look forward to. Potentially, do we really look forward to centre backs making debuts? I'm not sure, but maybe it's something to keep an eye out for. Maybe not something to be excited about. But Sam Wilson said Brad is a strong and dominant centre back. Well, that's the basics of being a centre back. To be fair, with good technical aspects to his game, we've watched a lot of him. We've watched a lot and had to wait for this chance to get him. We think he'll adapt well to us and be a strong addition to our group. He's hungry to get going into games at this important, exciting time of the season. I'm sure he's going to have an impact for us in time here, and for sure will further develop with the staff and teammates he'll have beside him. So that's what Director of Football Simon Wilson's had to say. And then finally, the final part of the statement, Dave Chalmers had obviously his say on it. Brad is someone we've kept track of over the last few years. That's a similar theme to what Simon Wilson said. He's had a fantastic loan at Accrington Stanley last season and played a full season at League Two level. He was required to stay in at Norwich for the first half of the season, but to get him now is a real coup for us, and we thank Norwich for trusting us in the next part of his development. He's young, and we definitely think we can improve him and have him improve our squad. Importantly, he wants to defend, he wants to head the ball, and can handle the ball in possession. This was an area we were really keen to strengthen, and getting Brad in that position is really good news for us, and I'm sure everyone will see his qualities and what he will add to an already strong squad. So a lot of praise in there, a lot of praise, as you would expect. He's just come in the door. Both of them talk about the time in which they've been looking at this player for. This is clearly from reading that, I'm getting the sense that this is a player we were probably looking at trying to get in the summer, when Chalmers talks about him having to stay at Norwich at the beginning of the season. This maybe is a deal which we've had lined up for quite some time, which is interesting. But yeah, I think the thing is, a lot of people, what I've seen when we've been linked to him, have mentioned the fact that he was the supporters' player of the year, or the player of the year last season at Accrington in League Two, which is a great achievement to be voted that by any club. To be voted the best player in that team, whether that's from the supporters, from the players, But let's be real here. Just let a player go out on loan in Sam Hughes, who was voted, I think, a similar award at Burton last season, and he's gone out on loan and not deemed good enough for Stockport County in League One, and he was playing in League One last season. So just because he's been voted supporters player of the year, whatever, great achievement. But let's remember, it's in League Two. It was in an Accrington side, which I can't remember where they finished in the table, but I don't think they were near the playoffs. So we have to take it with very much a pinch of salt. He is 20 years of age. He's not played a lot of professional football other than that loan spell at Accrington last season. Just 4 appearances so far this season for Norwich. So that's 44 appearances so far in his professional career at the age of 20. That is a bit of a concern for me. It's a little bit like Mika Hamilton. For the age he's at, he's not played a lot of football. When you think some of the players in the EFL and not just the EFL, in the Premier League, you look at sort of top level football, and some of the young players now. I mean, look at the Euros last summer. Lamine Yamal, 16, 17, going on and showing what he can do at that age. So a couple of the players we brought in, they appear to have potential, but they've not quite worked out and they're not quite kicked on at this point in time. And the problem with these kind of loan spells is look, if you actually own the player, you can work with them. And you can give them that time, but with a loan spell, they've got 6 months of the season. They've got to come in and make an almost instant impact. And the fact that they've not played a lot of minutes at professional level, other than last season for Accrington in League Two, it means that we're not quite got that ready-made experience and ready to perform now, which I think could be a bit of an issue for us. But hopefully it works out. I mean, look, we were desperate to bring in a player in that area of the pitch. There's no doubt about that. From Sam Hughes going out mid-January, we always have to bring in a player in that position, and we've done that now. I think it'll be interesting to see whether or not he's an upgrade on Sam Hughes, because I don't know why we would have loaned Sam Hughes out to then bring in a replacement which isn't as good, unless he was really pushing for game time and we didn't feel like we were going to need him that much. I don't know. So I can only assume that this is going to be a very, very good addition to the squad. Obviously, I'm hoping that is going to be the case. I'm not got how tall he is, but he sort of said there that he's dominant in the area, dominant in the air. He wants to get stuck in. He wants to have the ball. They're basics to defending. They're the things which stand out when you sort of watching the defender. I think it'll be very interesting to see how he gets into the team. Like I say, at the moment, that back three more or less picks itself. Can he come in and provide competition? That's what we're hoping he'll do. Whether or not he forces his way into that starting 11 is a different conversation. I'm not so sure about, but as I say, it's just an interesting one just to sort of go live, talk about it, within the half an hour of it happening. Obviously, we're planning, I'm going to have Adam on later on, regular on the channel in the vlogs. He's going to come on hopefully 9 o'clock with me to sort of dissect or go over the business that's happened in the window as a whole. By that point, I'd imagine that most of our business or all of our business should be done. But of course, it does sound like there is going to be at least one more transfer in the pipeline for Stockport County based on the phrasing of that announcement earlier. So it'll be interesting to see. As I say, we brought in a centre-back. That's what we needed to bring in. I said we probably needed 2 players. The priority became a centre-back once Sam Hughes went out on loan. So it'll be interesting to see, as I say, what the next move is. Is it that striker, which I'm hoping it'll be? Is it maybe another position? Maybe, is it possibly another centre-back? Who knows? I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen. I don't think anyone knows what's going to happen in this window at this point in time. Obviously, we've had the news that Corey Adai could have been going out. Now it looks like he's not going to go out. There's been some interesting developments that I probably wouldn't have seen happening today. I didn't think about Jack Stretton's contract being terminated. I didn't think that he was going to necessarily move on. I thought maybe he might have gone back out on loan again, but I didn't think he would leave on a permanent basis. That's sort of been a bit of a surprise for me. That he's gone permanently without actually a transfer. And obviously Corey Adai, that speculation this morning, quickly put down by Sam Burns. To be fair, he said that it's unlikely he'll go out. Obviously the club won't want a backup goalkeeper to go out on loan or on a permanent because they're going to need him they might need him for the second half of the season. But I can understand it from Corey Adai's point of view. He's not playing football. He was the cup goalkeeper. There's no cup games now for the rest of the season. He'll be eager to play. Let's not forget he got promotion last season via the playoffs. He's very highly rated in League Two himself last season, so I can understand the frustration from Adai's point of view. I can understand that he's eager to play. But let's see. Let's wait and see what happens. There's still a couple of hours left of this deadline day, but I don't see him going, to be honest, at this point in time. Nor do I see Langstaff coming in. There was a little bit of speculation that he may be the striker to come in those last couple of days of the transfer window. That doesn't seem to be happening either. Sam Burns sort of poured cold water on that one. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Been a couple of names that have been linked. I think there was a player from Sunderland, the right winger, I think it was. Obviously the centre back from Northern Ireland, the 17-year-old. I think it was Matthew Orr, who has been with us throughout the window. Happen with him. I understand that potentially looking at him as well as our Newcastle. So I think we're probably bottom of the chain in regards to that one. Whether or not that's the deal that would even happen now would probably be more likely to happen in the summer anyway. But it does sort of look like maybe one more player to come in before this window slams shut at 11 o'clock tonight, and I do expect it to be a more attacking position as opposed to a defensive position. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Have I missed anything in the time I've been live? That's the question. I haven't. No. It's all going off on Twitter. I thought I'd missed something important. I haven't actually missed something important, although I can read out what I just saw. It's not to do with Stockport County, but it does involve a former Stockport County player. I think it's Ben Whitfield has agreed a move to Barrow on loan from Burton. So that's interesting. Not really, but yeah, that's kind of where we're at this point in time. As I say, Brad Hills has signed for the remainder of the season from Norwich. He comes in a young age, but Dave Chalner sounds confident in what he said about the player. Sounds like a good addition, but again, we'll just have to wait and see. You can make anyone sound good in the statement, can't you? We've seen players come in. I remember last season that we brought in Reece Bennett for Manchester United. That didn't quite seem to work out, but that was a very positive statement then as well. I think something that we can't get carried away with too much is the tag. The tag of it being a Norwich City centre back who are in the Championship, or the tag of a player maybe being ex-Man City academy and getting carried away with that. He is, he is a Norwich City centre back, but he's not a Norwich City first team centre back, is he? That's why he's come out on loan to us. So it's not like we've got someone on that level necessarily, although you never know. Just because he's not played a lot of football doesn't mean he can't come in and perform, but it does make it more difficult for him. Lee Woodwiss is coming to the chat. I hope I've said that right. Who are they bringing in next? Is it a striker? I'd imagine it's got to be a striker, to be honest. I would have said a few days ago, if you'd asked me how many players do I think we'll bring in and what should those positions be, I would say 2 players, a centre-back and a centre-forward. I would have said a left winger, but I think Mika Hamilton's coming and taking that spot. I think he's probably the left wing replacement for Barry. I wasn't that particularly impressed with his sort of cameo off the bench on Saturday. There was a moment where we could have gone on a break and he gave the ball away really poorly. So it remains to be seen what will happen with Mika Hamilton. He's not had a lot of game time actually since he signed. So I don't think Chalna is 100% sure about him. We have seen this with players. I think a similar thing happened last January with Rico Richards as well, where he sort of came in on loan, didn't really get much game time. I think he played the odd game. I think he had like a decent game, but there were few and far between. Obviously, he went back to Villa, and I think he's at Port Vale this season. I could be wrong, Rico Richards. So I think he started the season there at least. But to answer your question, yeah, I think it will be a striker. Certainly an attacking, sort of attack-minded player. But from what I've heard, there was speculation it could have been Macaulay Langstaff that was coming in. That now isn't going to be the case. Like I say, Sam Byrne basically shut that down earlier today. Obviously, he's almost the reference point, the go-to point for Stockport County transfers in this window. But yeah, interesting. Even Sam Byrne on the tweet about the Norwich City centre-back coming in on loan, he himself said in his own tweet, 1 down, which suggests, there could be another one to go. And possibly more. I mean, look, we could bring in 3 players. I would say 2 players would be more likely. Which striker is coming in? I couldn't tell you, to be honest. I think County are keeping their cards very close to their chest in this transfer window. Not much has really come out. There's been a lot of leaked and there's been a couple of players that have been rumoured with us, and we've never gone for them. I think to sort of Ethan Wheatley from Manchester United was linked before the window opened. He was also linked to a move to Wrexham. In the end, he ended up going somewhere in League Two. Ethan Williams, another Manchester United academy player, was linked with us. I think he was linked with someone else. He ended up going on loan to Cheltenham, I think it was. Don't hold me to it, but I think it was Cheltenham. So we've had a couple of players linked to us, but not that strongly. They've all gone elsewhere, so I don't know if they were ever really number one target. But Dave Chalna said something before the game on Saturday, which kind of suggested that the players we're looking at, are the same players that we were looking at the beginning of the window. And then I read this with this player statement coming in, and it talks about how long they've tracked him. I think this is a player we have been looking at for the whole window, and maybe they've just been waiting for the right time. Norwich may be looking to do business to allow him to go out. Chalna sort of alluded to the fact that he had to stay with Norwich at the beginning of the season. Suggests that now he doesn't have to. Maybe they've sort of found reinforcements in that position, which has allowed him to sort of go out on loan. I'm not sure what Norwich have done in the window, to be honest. I'm not even sure where Norwich are in the Championship table. I haven't checked. But yeah, I think the next move will be a striker. It will be interesting to see what profile of striker we go for, because there's the Carl Wotton type striker, isn't there, where it's almost a target man, someone who looks to bring others into the game, or you could go down the sort of Tanto route, or someone with a little bit of pace. Wade Hatter said Macaulay Langstaff is rude, but that one's not going to happen from what I'm hearing. As if I've got information, I haven't. But this is what Sam Byrne said earlier. I can find it. He said earlier regarding reports of Stockport County interest in Armando Dobra, who thinks at Chesterfield, and Macaulay Langstaff, understand that neither of those are a thing and won't be happening today. So that's where we're at with that one. That came out quite a couple of hours ago now. So yeah, there was talk of Macaulay Langstaff, and he would have been a favoured option, I think, by most county fans. He's obviously a well-known name throughout the Football League, particularly in League Two, and it has been mentioned a lot of time around Stockport County years, but it doesn't look like that is going to happen, to be honest. But you never know. Never say never. Um, but I don't think it will be Macaulay Langstaff based on what I've heard today or what's been put out there today. Um, Chris Crowther's come in and said, no idea who the attacking player could be. Not seen any rumours other than Dobra and Langstaff, but they're false. Yeah, and I think that's the thing. I think County are definitely keeping their cards close to the chest in this transfer window. Not much is getting out. No one really heard about Brad Hill's coming in, to be honest, until maybe late last night, early this morning. So that sort of came out the blue. Um, they probably let that on staff. Yeah. So I'm not entirely sure what happened there. I seem to have lost my place there for a short amount of time. Paul Mullin wouldn't be a bad signing, but it won't happen. I'm not sure he would. I don't think he's good enough. Chris Crowther there. Mullin is level for League One anymore. That's why Wrexham aren't playing. And that's why Wrexham have signed about 8 strikers. To be honest, I'm sorry, it is a little bit blurry. I don't know what's happening with the connection here. But yeah, hopefully you can all stick with me. So yeah, I don't know what's happening with the striker situation. But Mullin, yeah, not up to level. That's why Wrexham have as many strikers as they've got. They signed 2 strikers in 48 hours the other day. Sam Smith has gone in, and of course the former Burnley striker Jay Rodriguez has signed for them. So that's 2 additions on top of what they've already got. Yeah, Streamlike. Yeah, apologies. Hopefully it's fixing itself. Connection's been a bit mad. So yeah, Langstaff again. It's going to be the name. It's going to be McDonald's Wi-Fi. Yeah, well, yeah, it's not a. It was fine, and then it's just had a couple of issues. It doesn't normally. Bear with us. If you don't get a striker in, we'll stay down. I think everyone's looking for a striker, aren't they? It's not just in League One. Everyone's looking for a striker. You look up the leagues, you look down the leagues. A guaranteed goal scorer, someone who can get you sort of 15, 20 goals, they're worth their weight in gold, because that's the difference between, being mid-table and being right up against nearly automatic places. That they're worth so much. Those goals, will get you so far in the table most of the time anyway. And I think everyone's looking for that striker, and unfortunately, County don't seem to have that, that sort of out and out, centre forward that can guarantee a number of goals in this league. Cal Wotton puts in a sort of good shift. He works hard for the team, but I don't think he's got it in him to be a goal scorer at this level. Bononi has got potential, but I don't think Dave sees it. We've not seen enough of him. That's the thing I found frustrating. On Saturday, I was crying out for him to come on with maybe about 20 minutes to go, because we took Will Collar off. Will Collar looked absolutely exhausted. He put in a hard shift. He needed to come off. And he came off, and quite rightly so. And same with Cal Wotton. Cal Wotton looked absolutely exhausted late on in that game, but just didn't come off. And if you're Bononi, Brecky Anderson on that bench, you're going to be thinking, when am I going to get an opportunity? He has to put more trust in his squad, Chow, and I think that's probably it. Because otherwise, he's going to run himself. He's going to run those players into the ground by not making enough changes, and then they're going to get injured, and then you're going to have to start those players and give them more minutes than what you would have had to have done otherwise. Don't think it's an issue if we stay down. To be honest, go up, we'll come straight back down again, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, it's a fair point. I mean, look at what's happened with Carlisle. They beat us in the playoff final. They've just sacked their manager today after signing a load of players this window. They're not doing particularly that great, I think, in League Two at this point in time as well. So sometimes you go too early. It won't just set you back one; it can set you back 2 or 3 steps backwards as well. So I'll be ready to go up this season. Probably not I think if we'd gone and got a born goal scorer who can get 20, 25 goals in the window, maybe strengthened a bit more, then you might look at it and go, yeah, maybe we could actually do a job in the Championship. But the fact we're even in the conversation of doing a job in the Championship is crazy. So yeah, I think we're probably maybe not this season, maybe playoffs this season, and then go for a League One title next season. Let's see what happens. That's what I would look to do. I'd be happy with that. Let's compete this season. Let's be competitive. Let's go and get in the playoffs if we can. Let's maybe a trip to Wembley. Who knows? But if we don't go up, it's probably not the worst thing in the world. And yeah, I think maybe attack next season more would be my priority. So yeah, I agree with Chris on that one. Like I say, we've got the one at 9 o'clock, where we'll sort of give a sort of summary of the transfers that have happened throughout this window, and obviously, if anything happens between now and then, we'll go live like we have done for this one. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. We will probably put it up on X as well. We'll put something out. We'll post something to say when we're going live. This has been a fairly positive one. Like I say, it's the first signing, so the indication is there is going to be at least a second. Let's see if there's any movement on players out as well. Like I said, there was a little bit of talk about Corey Adai at the beginning, this morning. That's been shut down. But you never know. It's not been completely shut down. It just said very unlikely. Obviously, County will be reluctant to let him go. But let's see what happens. We're all talking about a striker coming in. Who that is going to be? Let's wait and find out, because we will have a striker, I think, in before the end of the window, and that's when we'll be able to give our thoughts on it. Stretton has left as well. Yeah, we spoke about that at the beginning. So I want to say a big thanks to everyone who has tuned in live. It's been good. Do get the like. Don't forget to like it if you have enjoyed it as well. Of course, and we will be going live at 9 o'clock. There's sort of a review of what's happening in the transfer window. Whether or not it's been a good window for County or not, we'll talk about that with Adam at 9 o'clock. And obviously, like I said, if anything, if any news comes in before now and then in terms of player leaving or player coming in, we will be going live pretty quickly to react to that as well. We need 4 players in. That's happened. Big thanks to everyone else joined in. Like I say, we will be reacting to anything. It does happen on this channel, so keep your eyes peeled for it. And don't forget to follow us on X as well, because that's where we'll be posting to let you know if we're going live. So big thanks to everyone who's joined in live. We'll be reacting. Hopefully there's a bit more business, and we'll be here to react to it. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned. We've got more coming up, I'm pretty sure.